All right, take a look at the WORKPRO 192-piece mechanics toolkit. Okay, so that's cool. Got a nice solid case on here. Cool. So we got a few deep sockets here on the left, not a heck of a lot, but we got a few. 3/8, 7/16, half, 9/16, so that's our standard. Then we got 10, 12, 13, 14. We got from a half up to a 7/8, and we got from a 14 up to a 21. So that's good. That actually means that we can take lug nuts off of our vehicle with this. You can see that these are all chrome plated, so they're going to be nice and easy to clean. It is labeled on there 21 millimeters. It is CRV chrome vanadium. That's a WORKPRO 1/2-inch drive, and it is a 6-point socket, which is very important to me. We can also see, if we look closely, the corners are drilled out, so that's going to be good for off-corner loading. So these look like pretty good sockets. So under the 1/2-inch, we got our 1/4-inch drive. So we got 3/16 up to a 9/16, and a 4 millimeter up to a 13 millimeter. Then we have an adapter. So if we want to turn a 3/8 into a 1/4-inch drive, we can do that. So just need a little bit more torque. That is actually a very nice feeling wrench. And it is a quick release style, which is the style I prefer, so that if I'm working one-handed, I can still drop sockets on and then drop them off without having to use two hands. And then we got all of our 3/8 drive on the right. So we got 11/16, so it goes up to a 3/4 on the standard and down to a 1/4. So it's a very nice assortment. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So we got our 6-point here, and we got our 12-point in the back. So if you're more into rapidly locking up, you got your 12-point sockets there in the back. And then for the metric, we got a 7 up to a 14. And for the 12-point, 5/16 up to a 5/8, 10 millimeter up to a 19 millimeter. So they do kind of got them spread up, but there's a nice variety in here. So what this means is, if this is something I'm going to be putting inside of my vehicle because I just want to have every tool that I need, this is going to be a very complete set. Obviously, if you need the smallest size, you need a 4 millimeter, then you are going to want to use your 1/4-inch drive ratchet. But if you need to use a 3/8 drive just because you need a little more torque, we can use that adapter. We got a bunch of 1/4-inch drive bits here on the bottom. So we got 2 hex sets. That's interesting. They're actually both exactly the same. So we got metric on the left and standard on the right. Then we got our Phillips and flatheads. So these are actually different. We even got some square bits in there. So if you're dealing with electrical work, that can actually help you out with that. We got posi drive here on the top. We got a bunch of Phillips drives. It's great because I love that they actually have more than one Phillips size too. A bunch of flatheads, and then we've got our adapters. These are both the same. They go from a 1/4-inch hex to a 1/4-inch square drive. So what that means is we can take our little driver, we can put that in there, and then we can take one of our 1/4-inch drive sockets and throw it in there, and then we have a hex driver. So very nice. Then our last set is the Torx. We got everything from a T10 up to a T40. So on this side we got our nut drivers. So we got a 5/32 up to a 7/16, and in metric we got a 5 millimeter up to a 12 millimeter. So if we didn't want to use that adapter, we just throw this directly in, and then we got a nut driver out of that. And because this is shallow, that's actually going to be a lot easier for like holding on to tiny bolts and that kind of thing. For our combination wrenches, we got a 5/16 up to a 5/8, and an 8 millimeter up to a 15 millimeter. They have a 12-point box end. They are labeled on both sides, so we know exactly what they are. Chrome vanadium, WORKPRO, and then we got a good looking open end on the other side. That's also nice and narrow, so if you need to get into a tight spot, you can do that with this. So here we got another cool thing. So this is an extension for the driver. So if we need just a little bit more reach, we got that. So that can always be handy. We got a 3/8 drive extension, so if you need to get a little bit more reach on a ratchet, you can do that. And then it actually comes with spark plug sockets. So the way that you can tell is because it's actually got a little rubber boot deep inside there that is going to grab onto the end of a spark plug to make sure that you can get that out without dropping it back inside the cylinder. So you got a 16 and a 21. And then last up, we've got our Allen wrenches. So in the red, we got our metric. This is a 1.5 up to a 6. So it doesn't have the 8, but that's actually pretty uncommon if you're going to be doing anything like emergency repairs or anything like that. And then on the standard, we got a 1/16 up to a 1/4. This is actually a fairly complete set. So I'm actually going to be throwing this in my truck just because having something like this that is nice and compact that I can easily store where I don't have to worry about everything kind of like bouncing around. This is a very nice set to have in your vehicle. I am very happy with that. So yeah, I think that is a pretty awesome general purpose toolkit.